Hello, Martha. Well, do I call you Martha or Martha Redbone?
Martha.
Okay, Martha. I wasn't sure. I wanted to respect your name, make sure I got it right, Martha.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, Martha's
how are
great.
how are you today?
I'm good. Most people call me Red, but it's cool.
Did I
All
call
of
you right? Okay. Well,
mhm,
then we can.
mhm.
We could call
Miss
you Red.
Bone, Miss Bone. My band calls me Miss Bone. So, I'm happy. Just love me. That's it.
Oh, that's great. Listen, well, it's great to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Hi, Martha. Hi,
Hey,
Maria. We've been wanting to have you with us for a couple of years now, and I know it hasn't been able to work out, but I am so honored to have you here. I just love you, and I just wanted to welcome you and thank you for contributing your talent with us today.
I'm so grateful that you guys even considered me. So, I'm really happy. I feel like, yay, we're in now. So, I want to come back and I want to be part of the Red Hook Arts community. I want to, these are like my lands. So
Absolutely.
Right on.
anything I can do to help and participate and be involved, just phone call, email away. That's it.
Right on. Well, first, thank you for that. Right. Thank you for that uh, community building position that you're holding. That's great. You
Mhm.
know. So,
Yeah.
listen, I have a question for you. So,
Mhm.
all right, so I've been watching a lot of my work as a poet, as a DJ, as a host disappear because of the pandemic. We're locked in the house,
Yeah.
and that's compounded by a lot of the political unrest that we're engaging in right now. I was
Mm.
wondering how you and your family were dealing with these times with pandemic and social and civil unrest.
Yeah, well, Jive, I'm telling you, it's been, I mean, we've been the same as everyone else, and as musicians, we our entire lives are based on gathering, public gathering,
Yeah,
where we share our music with the world, and we're on planes, trains, and automobiles, and in hotels and all these cities, and to have that go overnight with stay in the house and don't go anywhere. We
that's
watched
right.
we watched, basically 6 months
Yeah,
plus of our livelihood disappear. And for performing artists, that's really scary. I mean, this is what we do. Like, you know, um, and how do you do that? We can't see our friends. So, I mean, people are doing like Zoom things and TikToks and all those kinds of things. But we went from, earning a living, making musicals and shows and giving shows at performing arts centers to musicians playing online in the living room for free, you know,
yeah,
and not sounding like how we sound professionally. We're at home and not everybody's house has good acoustics. And, so it's been really heartbreaking for us to not be represented the way that we do, even grassroots musicians, like myself, doing roots music and blues and stuff. I mean, this is not the way that we work, and not being able to be with our, with our ensemble. I mean, like one of the main shows that we do is a concert called Bone Hill, um, and there's 8 of us in the ensemble who've been traveling around for like the past 4 years, touring together, singing traditional music, singing, R&B and blues and folk and all kinds of stuff, and now we're all in all these different places. And who knows when it will be safe enough to even see them again, or gather, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's been very frightening. I'm really grateful for the art, the arts community who's managed to um, have like funding available and emergency grants and stuff. I mean, that's been like a miracle, especially for musicians who are self-employed. You know what I mean? Um, and with musicians' life, we're kind of one paycheck from being homeless
yeah.
ourselves. and this is real. It's real. And and say in my case, both my parents are deceased, so this is it. You know, it's me and it's my husband, and his family are not even out of the country, and they're elderly. They're in their 80s, and we can't fly internationally to be with them, and just we lost so many friends to the coronavirus. I mean, so many musician friends are gone. I can't even tell you how the numbers. So it's been real, Jive. It's been seriously real.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm grateful for, programs like, this Red Hook Arts Festival and other places who have, found a way to continue to work remotely, with these computers and things, and we can still continue somehow to make, music this way. But, it's really not what we're meant to be.
Martha,
Looks like we lost the connection.
I think we lost Jive.
We did, but I'm still here. Are you still here? I see
I'm
you.
here.
We're doing, yep, great.
I guess, yeah.
There he is. I think he might be back.
I think you're back. Yeah.
You hear me?
I
Yeah.
hear you. Yes.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe something I was able to hear and see everybody, but I guess you couldn't see me.
Yeah, you were frozen.
Yeah.
Frozen in time. No, okay.
That's kind of what I do from day to day. I'm like, what?
Frozen
Yeah.
in like a genie in a bottle.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you. I have a lot of friends who are artists, who do, are struggling with the same issues that you're talking about. It's like living day to day. Your work has dried out. You can't travel. You can't perform. And for artists, that's like part of their DNA. You might as well tell them not to breathe, right? Because
Right.
if you're an artist, whether you're a spoken word or you're a singer or you're a musician, that's your life's blood. You get up in the morning and that's what you want to do every single day. It's like taking a piece of you away from you, not being able to do that. A lot of the artists that we're featuring during Red Hook Fest, like the Illustrious Black, Taina Seeley, the Revival Choir, you're familiar with all of them.
All friends. All friends.
Of course
All
you are.
family. Are you kidding me?
They,
Smiling. Yeah.
yes, you're all family. And thinking of that, how do you support each other? I mean, this requires a lot of support. I know it does. How do you wake up every day and inspire and support each other, even to stay on message? Because I know that a lot of your work is based on social justice issues. How do you then, especially in this time where, the Black Lives Matter rallies are so important,
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
communities are demanding change. How do you wake up and say, like, we can keep going?
Yeah. I am so grateful for this festival lineup. And, these are all artists who are really great friends and who do seriously meaningful work. And they're most important, not only are they brilliantly talented, but they're also very kind. And that's what you need in a crisis situation. One of the things that, it's so interesting. First of all, I'm really grateful for this technology. This is where technology is a blessing, because we can check in on our friends, and do things like this and FaceTime and see each other and, and have these kinds of things online. So social media, I have to say, has been a huge blessing. And I was, imagining the first time there was a pandemic like this was in 1918. you know, and there were hundreds of thousands of people who died as well during that time. And I keep thinking about that because that was also during a time that my grandparents were born. Then they were babies then. They came from very poor families too, and were very isolated up in the hills of Kentucky. So, but when I think about um, the movement that's been going on, a lot of it stems from the coronavirus pandemic and you know, an administration that lies to us, doesn't tell us the truth, hides the truth from us. And so that's why when you have things like that and you have family members and friends dying, you know, by the thousands daily within a 90-day period, it's surreal. I mean, um, and when you have that, and then we're all at home glued to these screens, and then you see a man be murdered live. The thing about it is, you know, the Black community has seen this over and over again. Um, but I mean, as you know, since the beginning of time, I mean, until Rodney King, you know, Michael Brown, Ferguson, and when that happened, the people who took to the streets were people of color. And so the change is this time, everyone is home. Everyone is affected by coronavirus. Everyone has lost their jobs. Everybody is on lockdown, you know, everybody. And when you have this time to be able to see these people on the screens being murdered and treated like this and lied to, and the Amy Cooper, what she did to that gentleman in the park, and showing her privilege and being well aware that it could be a life or death situation with her calling the police on that man. When you have that followed by Ahmaud Arbery, then you watch that, and then you watch George Floyd. This is where everyone, white people, are saying, oh, hell no, we're not doing this, and I'm grateful for that, because I'm not so sure that if we didn't have this pandemic and this lockdown, I'm not so sure that we would be having this response from the white community, because this racism is a white problem. It's not a Black problem. It's not a brown problem. This is white people have to fix this. White people have to fix it, not us.
Absolutely. You make such a great point. I had never thought of it that way, but the idea that people have had to stop their lives, all of the noise, right? All of the exterior noise has stopped. And for the first time, you're actually being able to sit and on a day-to-day basis witness these horrible things that are happening, and you're kind of forced to pay attention. You don't have the opportunity to go to Starbucks and buy yourself a latte, or go get your nails done or your hair done, or or do anything. It's just almost being forced to look at this, and it inspires you to act. It kind of forces you to act. If you have a heart,
right.
If you have a heart and you can think on things critically and passionately and empathetically, then it should inspire anybody who's looking at this to act on this now, and relevant to the urgency of the matter, right?
Right. And I think this is the first time that I think in a long time that people are willing to listen and also recognize the systemic racism that has been in place for centuries, and really thinking about these terms, these terms that have been coming up. So there's a lot of work to be done, and I'm so grateful for these young white people who have taken to the streets. You know, in Kentucky, where I'm from, you know, all the white women stood on the front line in front of the police who were pointed, ready to attack all the Black people behind. You know, when you see something like that, I mean, sorry, when you see that, that's when you know that people understand what we've been going through, what Black and brown people have been going through for centuries. And they know that it's wrong, and they know it has to stop. And to see them making efforts to make this end and to change this way is really, it's as it should be, you know. It's human. It's a human responsibility, and I think it's amazing.
I do.
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an emotional place and time that we're in right now, you know. And I think about all of the things you've just said, and how it relates to the work, how your work actually talks about all of this, right? This pain and this trauma. And you mentioned just now in your response about how this has been happening for centuries and centuries, right? And I really think about this in relationship to you and your work, right? We're in a space now where Black and brown people are being killed digitally, and we're being forced to relive and re-traumatize. Once upon a time, it will happen, and then maybe you'll hear about it, and you'll see a newspaper clipping, and then you can decide how you. But now we're seeing it, right? And it makes this big emotional, political tornado, hurricane around us all of the time. But you're in a very unique position, right? Because you are experiencing all of these histories at the same time, right? You're Native, Indigenous, Black, and woman living in what is now the United States on stolen land, right? Absolutely. That is a very complicated space to be in. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you see yourself in this time during this political health crisis that's happening.
So I see it, just like you said, Jive, I see it from both sides. I see it, I see it in our community in the Native community where, you have this administration withholding funds for tribes, to get treatment in reservations for the coronavirus, just being denied access to supplies, to ventilators, to things like that, and to see the tribe up north in Washington State, they wrote to the government saying, please send us supplies, please send us ventilators, please send us this. And what did they send them? They sent them 200 body bags, nothing else. So I'm seeing things from all sides, and I'm seeing this administration try to remove our homelands, taking away, just deciding that they're going to change the borders, just signing off on companies to make pipelines and all kinds of things. And a lot of time what's happening on the East Coast is the pipelines are happening here too. It's just people aren't talking about it because what they're doing is they're putting the lines through tribes that are not federally recognized, but are state recognized tribes, and you can see with our relatives up north in the Wampanoag community where they're trying to take away the land trust to make it public. I mean, it's all of the things that are going on. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good for anyone, and it's important that the uprising, it's a natural process of the uprising. You know what I mean? How else do you make change? How else? I'm here because, the people who came before me marched. I mean, that's how my parents met. My parents met in the 60s during the civil rights movement. And, she's Native and he's African American. And that's how they got together. That's how I came to be, and they fought, they marched. And and my grandparents before that, people died so that I can live, so that we can make change. So we can't be complacent. I'm what I'm hoping is that most importantly, um, when when people are taken to the streets, make sure that we stop and vote before we take to the streets, because the voting, it's one thing to make the noise, but we have to vote, because if we don't vote, then we're invisible, and we're tired of being invisible. All of us, all of us.
Absolutely. I was raised on the idea that arts is like the tool that you use to raise your voice, and art is the voice of the people. And so I understand the role of artists in activist movements, right? Sometimes it helps to see it through a lens of somebody speaking to you through music, through dance, through spoken word, as in Jive's case. What can the arts do that is different from protests and legal actions and legislation for policy change?
Hmm. I think all of that is part of the process. I think the art is the expression that, we're, in a way, we're kind of healers, and or if any, what's the word? I'm not finding the right word, but I guess through art, I guess art is the catalyst for the action. You know, it's our expression, and that's what speaks the truth, and then from there is the action, I think. Um, I don't know if I'm answering your question properly, um, but I think that there's a lot of work to do, and we have to vote in every category. We have to vote for every election, no matter how small, because it's really important that the people in our district are taking what we want to DC. Um,
And
that's crucial. That's crucial. Miss Kumbo is in our area. She's magic. Hakeem Jeffries, magic, and those are the voices that we need, and that we can trust, who will have our best interest at heart. I'm so thrilled that Letitia James is our Attorney General. I'm so thrilled, you know, because she came from right around our district. So it's important that every election, no matter what, that's the one thing that we're given. The one thing as a citizen is that we have a vote when we turn 18. So why should we not use that? That's one of the most important things that we have. And it's really important. And it's important because they are killing people to try to prevent us from voting. And if you commit a crime, and you're a convicted felon, you no longer are not allowed to vote. That's the importance of that voice. So that's why we have to stand up and we have to be counted. It means everything. It means everything.
Listen, thank you for that, because I think you're right. I agree. So here's the question. So are there any final thoughts, words, or considerations you want to leave the viewers and the experiences of Red Hook Fest?
Wow. Well, look at me. We laughed. We cried. Tears. Oh my God. I didn't even mean for that to happen.
But it's real.
It's real. It's real. It's real. It's what's going on in the world, and it's part of the healing. And I love you guys because you brought it out. You know what I mean? So that's your energies too. Your energies are real, and like we're all speaking from the same place, and to me, that's when I think about, Red Hook Arts Festival, when you talk about community, I mean, and Illustrious Blacks and the Resistance Revival Chorus and my sister Taina, who I did the 1 Million Rising song with her. When I think about that and these tears and the passion, that's what the richness of this festival is about. And when you said it's real, that's what it is with every single artist that you have in the bill, and and then some, who are some other names that we need to have on there for next time. So I'm grateful, and it sounds like it's going to be a beautiful online festival, really meaningful, and I hope that people come and get some popcorn and have some make a cocktail or something and sit up and put it on the big screen if you can and enjoy it. So I'm grateful.
Martha, thank you. One of the first things on my list when this is over is to find you and give you a big hug.
Right? I can't wait. I mean, like I was saying, what is the arts world going to do with social distancing, especially theater? Everybody's like hugging and kissing. Like, what can we
No.
do? What are we going to do? When is it going to be safe again? So yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that hug. And I'm grateful. Thank you to Martha Bowers and the whole team, and Andrew, and to you, Jive. I'm looking forward to hearing some of your work too. I have to find your pages and stuff, and social media and see, and I actually maybe do something together. That would be great.
Yes.
Come on now.
I support.
Yes.
I support.
Yes.
Have studio with travel, Yeah.
I support this. Thank you so much, Martha.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.